there's this particular. I learned from that experience, and so there was this guy who was a trotro driver. We're on the Teshi Road heading towards Family Health, the Kofi Annan Center.
Okay.
Traffic road, and the bus stop is to our right. I was in the outer lane, and the trotro was in the inner lane.
Yeah.
And I think suddenly, they saw some passengers who wanted to. So he just crossed. And if I had not jammed on my brakes, I would definitely hit the guy. It was so close. And then he just crossed, and then, so I was so upset. I panicked because I thought I had rammed into him. So then I was so upset. I moved slowly and got close to him. And so then I looked at him. And when I looked at him, and then he instead of apologizing, was like, we know you be that.
You know how it is, how it gets every time you're on set and they didn't tell us. I'm your host, deyram.
I'm Jedidiah.
Yep, we are back, Charlie. We're back. Thank you all for sticking with us on this journey. We wouldn't have been here without you. And if you want to see us on social media platforms, we are everywhere, Charlie, from Facebook to TikTok to Twitter to X, to Instagram, Snapchat.
Everywhere.
It's just they didn't tell us. Just type they didn't tell us, but should be together, and then you get us on every social media platforms. Yeah, today our guest.
Calm.
Okay, so our guest. Okay, before I do this, let's just watch a video, like a brief video, like a snippet of a whole thing, and then when I introduce my guest, you would understand better. For those that don't know him, you know.
This will refresh your memories.
Exactly.
Oh, give me feel like. Take the right view. You see the baby? Vibe. I feel her. What at all is your mind made up? Sawdust. But why? You know if you make the move, you go mess up. You laugh. But this will be your last chance. But you vibe on something. Oh, first day you vibe, next time you get. Charlie, be like you're right, though. Risk a move on it. Relax, Charlie. As for this chick, her eyes, her lips, Charlie, her legs. I see how fast this I see her proper. Come on. Charlie, we didn't waste time. That means her family. It did trouble pass me. Go here when she fly. I give you 1 week. Only 1 week. Masha mental. Oh, who be here? Women, my mind they like egg. You knock small, you go crack. You start promoting less. Like you come out the egg in steam. She will talk. No, plenty. Like no stop. You win. Did it? That small girl then she be virgin before I break her. You know how then stop when she made before I break her. Charlie, that's alright. I'm making a move by hook or crook. Charlie, you know your phone number. You need the ass. Push out. You don't do the thing. Push out. Push out.
Okay. You saw that, right? Yep. Our guest. He's a Ghanaian.
By birth.
Oh my God. He was born on the 7th of July, 1973. He went to school at Laboni. I don't know what course he did, but I'll ask him afterwards. I'll ask him during the session. He's an alumni from the University of Ghana, where he did fine arts, and also did his master's at University of Johannesburg in dramatic arts. He's been in a lot of movies, Charlie. We've known him since we were kids.
Right, from birth.
And now we are here
with him.
Same room with him, Charlie. Okay.
Yeah. So our guest is no other person than the legend, Mr. Michael Adjetey Anang.
The Michael Adjetey.
The Michael Adjetey Anang. Thank you for coming on.
That was a f***ing lie.
Thank you. But just a few corrections. I don't know where you got the Michael from? Because I don't have the Michael.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Adjetey Anang. There's an English name that is only written on paper, but it's not pronounced. That's George.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so
Okay.
so there's no Michael. Yeah.
My research was wrong.
And I also went to the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg. So Wits is short for the university. Yeah, cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
for coming on.
Sorry?
Thank you for coming on.
Oh yeah, a pleasure. Pleasure to be here. Yeah.
So we'll just begin this whole show now.
Yeah. It's going to be segments.
All right.
We are going to bring you to our level.
Talking to us.
Talking to us and then related to our audience on the, how do I say this? The Gen Z level.
Yeah, sort of.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Sort of, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, Jet.
So, Mr. Adjetey.
Yeah.
So,
For people that don't know you, you just want to refresh their memory on who exactly you are, what you, yeah. And then we'll start with our own. So.
I think one of the courses that I didn't do well in is myself. I mean, anytime they ask me to write about myself, I get stuck somewhere. But simply, Adjetey Anang, an actor, lecturer, influencer, and family guy. Have a son, married to alum, and then early years of school started in Tema, Community 10, the SOS Hema Minor School, which is now SOS. It's a different name now. I think SOS. Yeah. And then I proceeded in my school days where I did I did Soul Clinic, I did Morning Star, then I did Laboni, because my dad was, I guess he couldn't decide, because then I couldn't decide for myself. So I just had to carry on. And of course, you've touched on my tertiary level as well. What you see is what you get pretty much. It started for me as somebody who did not know how to talk. I mean, these days I talk a lot. Would sit in the background, observe more, and then implement what I see, add my own touch to it. So it was a very knitted family in Community 10, me and my sister. We grew up with a tight bond family, and then we're thrown into a compound setting when Daddy had to, be more adventurous and visit the rest of the world. And so I didn't really have a fatherly figure in the very beginning. I picked up bits and pieces from everywhere. And today I'm here. I had all the package of the good, the bad, and the ugly for me in my younger years, and I'm here today, thankfully. So just a snapshot of what my early years to date has been.
You mentioned growing up in Tema.
That's right.
Schooling in SOS.
Yeah.
How was your growing up in Tema? Because it's more like Tema is known for, let me see, a creative life, but also a notorious life. People from Tema are normally seen as...
Right.
I mean, we are from Tema, but like... general population outside Tema sees Tema people to be very notorious and like.
I guess probably in my time this was probably late 70s to early 80s. Right. I mean, Tema was more. It wasn't anything like what is being referred to as today. Because we're a generation who were pretty much afraid of. We had this fear of parenthood, so when Daddy says something, you have to stick by it, because otherwise you have the cane and all that. And today, even me, I hardly cane my son, where we introduce punishments, like you can't watch your favorite cartoon or, something. But then they would use the cane immediately. So people tried as much as possible to comport, even if they faked it. I mean, you still had this... people behaving, and so it had its impact on society, what was happening then. But I would say that a lot has changed, during those times. And even when you look at advance in technology, advance in every, social media age has come in, and so the world has gotten smaller. Other cultures has, influenced what we're doing or what we're used to, and therefore things have moved very, very fast, and therefore you've had that change, but that dynamism. But then during our time, the things that I can relate to what people are saying now about what Tema is, and and what it was. So yeah.
Thank you for that. From what I've heard, Dad was a biochemist.
That's right.
That's what generally everyone knows. What was Mom?
Mom was a librarian, so he worked at the Ghana Library Board. And she was actually the reason why I took to reading a lot of books and did pretty well in literature in school days, because we formed this habit of reading. And every time she brings a book home for us to read, and it was quite of course, Dad, as I said, was a biochemist, and the sense of he was also in that era where Daddy would sort of influence what you do in future, even in your courses. And even though he was in the traditional dad who is like, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a doctor, he dropped hints of wanting me to be in the sciences, and so, as it were, to follow in his footsteps. And he had this dream of establish his own company, etc. So he wanted me to take, after him. But I think, unfortunately for him, I was also introduced to movies very early. My uncles, I remember, were really, really movie guys, and there was always a movie going on. And I could see examples of fatherhood, how the Western fathers and parents would take their kids out to social events and the picnics, and it's always fun. There was always something going on fun. But my dad's, unfortunately, the scenario was very different. His was just work home. Hardly any social event. If there's any social event, then we're going for a funeral, an outdooring, which is, and so I thought that, well, if this is what the sciences do to our fathers, then I'm not interested, because I can see a very good example that I would love to be a father like that, and experience that. And so very beginning, I sort of didn't have a certain good perception about being in the sciences. That influenced my decision. Even though I really didn't know then what I really wanted to do then. But he wasn't, the kind of dad who would say that, do this, or, these are the consequences. He just said that, look, whatever I wanted to be, I should be amongst the best and acquire education to the highest level, so that, it impacts, whatever that I'm here to do would impact well. And so, yeah, that was basically.
But then you pursued science at some point in lab.
Oh, it was more like, let me do the science for him and give him his certificate.
So where did the change from science to arts come?
So I think it was in Laboni.
Right in Laboni.
Right in Laboni.
You could change courses.
Oh, up to the Form 5 level, where, when you get sixth form, then that's when you sort of, then there was the old system before GSS came in, and so up to Form 5, and then when you go into sixth form, then you now,
branch out.
That's right, branch out, and then you get your core, whatever you want to do,
I would say you were more like a DB back then, but restricted.
The funny thing was that we were where we have our house was interesting. We're sandwiched in between. To our right was the Ayivos. Ayivos had a Western kind of nuclear family setting where the mother was from Germany, I believe, I remember. And of course, the father was Ghanaian. And so they have this Western culture influence in the home. And then to our left was the house that the smoke doesn't die out. There's always smoke coming out from that house because it's a kinky house, and not just kinky, but other things that were being smoked there. and so you had that was also a compound setting, and so there was a sharp contrast between those on our left and our right. Of course, obviously, my parents would want us to associate more with Ayivos, the Western, and we didn't find them too fun because, everything was indoors but then there was more fun to our left because there was always action. There's always fight going on. There's drama. grammar, insults. You want to hear what's the next fight. You want to peek through the fence and find out what's. It's always something going on, activity going on there. And I had neighbors like Kweku and Kwame who introduced me to Chaskele and Gota to Gota races. That was more fun, even doing cars from tin mill, and all that was exciting. Was creativity, was and of course, so once we would sneak and then go there when we know that when Daddy comes in, then we sneak back and all that. So this were the influences that we had. Growing. It was pretty balanced, and even though we tilted more to the smokehouse than the other. Yeah. So I wasn't your aesthetically I may look like a Dadabi, but having gone through that, with the people on my the neighbors to my left, put me in a very, very balanced kind of
Would you say your parents were strict?
My dad was really strict. And he wouldn't, he spoke with a cane and belt.
So he barely spoke.
No, he barely spoke. When he speaks,
he's the cane
belt. My mom would hardly beat us, but she would take away your snack or pudding, dessert after meals. Okay. You wouldn't have the ice cream. You wouldn't watch your favorite program, and there were very, very limited cartoon or animations thing there. So if you miss one or two, Charlie, that's very painful. The fun is gone. You didn't have all these networks, platforms that you could have, options. Pretty much.
Growing up, you said you loved movies?
Yeah.
You loved reading. What was your favorite book back then?
Oh, my favorite books then was the Hardy Boys, and Nancy Drew. More of detective, young people who are trying to fight crime, as it were. And it was really teenagers. I was very excited. Then Asterix and Tintin. If you know of those, those are my comic favorite books. Then Enid Blyton, I think. Famous Five, I think I remember. Yeah, I know you can relate on these. I give up. But Tintin is still. Tintin and Asterix.
There was a cartoon of it.
And then of course there was you had the cowboys and cowboy comics, and then the Spider-Man's, Superman's comic books.
So it started there.
You came into our generation. Slipped in and
So those were my books. Apart from that, then a little bit further down the line, I had people like George Bernard Shaw's, the Eric Ibsen's literature plays were very, very.
read a lot.
Okay, so
that's nice.
Yeah.
So with the movies, is that where you developed interest in?
Oh yes, definitely.
So it was at a younger age, I would say.
Very much. The interest in movies did not immediately, make me decide that, I want to be an actor. No, not yet. Yeah. I knew that I had a thing for. I really was. I'm always fascinated about how characters, because beyond what I saw, I go into, I find out who are these characters, actors who are playing these characters. I get to find out what their real life scenarios are. Sometimes it's nothing to do with the characters that they're playing, and I'm always amazed at how they're able to live the characters that they play, and yet they are not that way in their real life. And it was a very fascinating thing for me, even though I didn't see myself as, being the one who had the focus, as being an actor. But there was this thing about, exciting about, I was exciting about the
so
whole
way before
acting.
University, did you ever have any acting, maybe drama?
Oh yeah, I mean that also influenced my decision to go into the drama club at school, as well as I think my first major production came on GTV then. Wow. I think it was solely GTV then as well. Yeah. And most of my teachers and my mates would go like, "Wow, like that was a good." Delivery.
You had it back then.
And I was like, well, I didn't know what the fuss was about, because I just more like imitated characters that I've seen in movies, and I played it the way, and I didn't think it was such a big deal, but it was making so much fuss about, that was really good. I really didn't get it then.
Back then, did you have any local actor when you were young? Did you have any local actor you were looking
at? David Donto, I remember very well. Yeah. David Donto, and then a bit later then Brew Riverson Jr., who is no more there. He's no more in the acting, consistently. And then the late Godwin Kote, I don't know whether you remember him.
And then foreign.
Oh, foreign, it's for as long as I can remember, that Denzel Washington has been one of my guys.
Yeah, Washington.
And then there's Anthony Hopkins as well.
Okay.
These were the two that I really started with. Yeah.
Did
Before.
they affect your movie career in any way? You acting?
Oh yeah, they did. They did a lot because I read a lot about them, found a lot of materials about how they got into character and stayed in character, and then over the years I branched into people like Johnny Depp's, and looked at even surprisingly looking at even female actresses, and so somebody like Angelina Jolie, her the variety that she brings into her work, and her versatility that she can play the action lady with the AK-47, and she can play the motherly abused mother, the death in delivery and all that. And so I've not had just one person, because people bring in different skills and they have their own way of bringing characters to life, and that for me was something that I wanted to learn and keep learning, and so
Before your first big break with the ABB Groma,
Right.
I think that was your first acting scene.
that's
like,
right,
generally.
major, I would say.
How did it come about? Because I heard it was a friend who introduced.
So it was so even before Ibigroma, that was before Ibigroma got more like, that's where I got more of my training actually began. But before Ibigroma, it was the group Nyankunton Players. Now this was in the days of TV theater, TV drama, where I think Thursday theater that they call it. We always have this drama thing on GTV, and I was introduced to this group by my friend Wakefield Akua, who belonged to this group then. And then I just finished national service, and I had a number of months before I continued with school, and he thought that, look, I should just accompany him to this rehearsal. And I went there, and to my amazement, I saw the Fred Amugis, the Sefa Kais, and the actors that we see on screens who you can hardly, there was an age of, we didn't have social media, so you only have to run into these people at events or on the road. And so for me, being in that close proximity with them, it was so cool, and I thought that, wow, these are all the stars that we want to shake hands with and all that. And that got me, and I think the director then told me that I should step in. It's a character, we were rehearsing a script then, and then one character hadn't come in, and they asked me to step in to read just the part. And I was like, I wanted to impress them a bit that, Charlie, I know something about acting, and so I read it, as if I was performing. And when I finished, everybody was looking at me. I was like, okay, have I done anything? I was like, no, so the director just said that, look, he promised me the part if I keep coming. And I thought he was joking, because who was I? Whoever it is would come back and take the role. But somehow, as fate would have it, the person didn't turn up again. And my going back to the rehearsal continually was not, I've never forgotten what the director had said, was for me to keep on getting closer to the Fred Amugis, the Sefakais, for me to come to school and come home and say that they are my friends. So that was it. But then, eventually that was my first, beyond what we did in school, first TV break and then scene, and that's where it started for me. Before I was, Ebigroma came in, they having this audition, and then I went there audition, and I was out of about 50 something. I was selected. Two of us were handpicked, and I joined the group, and that's where I met David Donto, the Lele Solomon Sampes, and Abe Ocansey, and Maoli Sam of Edina Matachi, and the rest.
So, all the fame Adjetey Anang, I would say, came with Pusha.
Right.
The in Things We Do for Love. Would you say it was a fast rise to stardom for you? Because I would say Pusha was just like, when he came, everyone just accepted who Pusha was, and Things We Do for Love actually, like as a whole series. Everyone just accepted it. Would you say it was a fast rise to stardom for you?
Yeah, I think that on many levels it propelled me faster than I even imagined. Even though from the onset it wasn't because I still hadn't understood the stardom thing, celebrity thing. That it was still early days for me. All I knew was just exhibiting my skills and just finding fulfillment in a craft that I wanted to give off so much and learn so much from. And so, Push Out was just that which really propelled me to that level. And sometimes I catch myself wondering, people call me, I'm like, oh, okay, hey, I'm popular. People know me, I go to places where I don't expect people to know me, and then I remember that, hey, Charlie, the character that I'm playing, because before gradually it dawned on me that, okay, now, everywhere I go, and the attention that I did get was both negative and positive. With those who also thought that I was the character.
Yeah, actually, I saw videos like that.
And so I must be a very, very bad guy. And then those who also, because of certain exposure or understanding of what this craft, entails, would say that kudos for playing that character well, And so yeah, Push Out in many respects propelled me to that.
With the negativity behind it, like people reading bad meaning into your personal life as
Yeah.
Adjetey.
Yeah,
How did you go about it, like reacting to, let's say, so in our current days, let's say social media comments.
Yeah.
How did you go about it?
I mean, it was tough to really negotiate, but then I've always tried to be very, very optimistic about everything, and even when people criticize me, I want to believe that it's constructive. I need to take they have something that they're saying. They may not say in the way that people sometimes don't know how to talk or to express themselves. It may come very rudely or very harshly, but I sort of sift that and look at what the content that they're talking about, and that's how I've learned. And so I've had to really work on myself in not sort of being as some of my colleagues sometimes are caught in the space of having a banter and you show me red card, I show you red card. You use a bad word, I also use a bad word against you. And I'd want to really believe that people just have something to share, but sometimes is the medium of which they communicate. That's the problem. I've also been on the positive side. For example, when this woman's son walked to me and hugged me at Sutherland Park, where the son recognized me, and then the woman was wondering, who is this guy? And then when she approached me and realized that I was the pusher, and then Stanley grabbed the boy's hand and moved away and said, stay away from such rascals. And then she walked away. I mean, these things happen, and you think that sometimes they'll just say, oh, hi, pusher, I was just joking, but well done, you guys. But she gave me a stern look and walked away with the son. In one, it's unfortunate for me. It's like sad to people to think that I am the character. But then again, I always, as I said, would tilt towards being optimistic that I probably must have played, done a good job for people not to really separate me, Adjetey, from the character.
With the negative side of it, people reading meaning into you, has it made you not take up roles like in movies that go in line with that part, like being a bad character or something?
Well, I mean, in early days, that was the focus. That I wouldn't want people to sort of tag me for a bad roles alone, but I wanted that versatility, and that's why people like Denzel, Angelina Jolie influenced me because of their versatility, and therefore I wanted to play other roles as well. Even though some directors will tell you that when I play bad characters, I bring more to the table than not, and so yes, it sort of influenced because some people would just give you scripts that are in line with Pusha because they've seen Pusha, and I'll have to reject a few, and pace it. When I play this, I'll play that. Yeah.
Okay. Very tedious. Going back to Dad.
Yeah.
Being a biochemist.
Yes.
Would you say, right now, you as a father, would you force your kid to go into something you are in?
No.
Because this is what, in general perspective, there's someone who is like, my dad is a president. My dad was a president.
Right.
I would want to be a president.
That's what you say right
I
now.
didn't say anything. I've not said anything. My dad was a president. I would want to be a president too. Then Why are you doing that? I don't like that.
I didn't
Then,
say it.
oh no. Okay, come in and let's see, not really give much impact.
No, you have an
And
agenda
then-
there, bro.
I don't. And then
You
there's
should have
someone.
another example. The president's example was not the right example. I have
Who's
an
that
agenda
as a
over here.
president?
It's good to listen to what others say. That's what I learned, that what people say about you also counts. You may not immediately see what you're doing, but because
Okay.
you listen to other people, so,
Okay.
don't say
Let's see.
never.
So okay, this guy's dad.
Oh, God.
This man could fix everything in this life and fix a broken relationship. I'm telling you fix a broken relationship. This guy's dad.
Okay.
And then, so this guy right now is a civil engineer. This boy sitting here is a civil engineer.
nice.
I would say his dad influenced him, but not directly. Because his dad wasn't really like.
That did electrical engineering. Before he
Technical.
switched.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Electrical engineering.
So I would say like his dad influenced him in a way.
Right.
Would you picture yourself influencing your kid?
Yeah, I mean, you use the word that I would never, factor in
Influence.
my force. That is totally out. I probably the farthest I'll go is persuade, or
Exactly.
persuade him to consider this option
Make it
other
look
than
cool,
that.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, even that has its limitations, because you would want to focus on what your child does best and finds fulfillment in. Because I remember at the point in time when I moved away from the scene and went into, because acting wasn't paying then.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It wasn't paying that much, and I just married, and the responsibility of ensuring that you're taking care of a family and all that. I went into the corporate space, and where I worked with a manufacturing company, a carton manufacturing company for packaging, and where I was made the head of marketing then.
Oh, okay.
I was bringing in all the jobs and clients, but I wasn't finding fulfillment, because it was just like, doing it for just the salary, and I wasn't happy. My wife even realized that there's something that I was was sitting on my dreams and all that. And so when I decided to go back to school and then come in, was when I said, look, I'm going back to what I find fulfillment in, where I'm excited, and that's what happened. And so you'd want to ensure that you find out what are the interests of your child, of your ward, and help push that, and guide them to the possible dangers, the possible things that you should look out for that can make you not fulfill your dreams and goals, other than making them do what you want, because they have their strengths and weaknesses as well. So you'd want to focus on what their strengths are and what they find fulfillment in. And that's where I would the support that I'll give my son, but not tell him to do what I want him to do.
Okay. So we have a mail from a listener.
Right.
Okay. So the mail goes, "Hello, deyram and Jed. Please keep me anonymous." Boss, we sent you through mail. We're already anonymous. Don't worry. I'll be waiting for your response and that of your audience in the comment section. These few months have been really fast for me. I turned 20 this year and level 200 student. I've been having this secret affair with a friend throughout this year.
Yeah,
With the phrase secret affair invented because we are in the same friend group and we don't want our business or this particular business public, since the lady is 5 years older. Sorry. I really like this lady because she taught me all there is to know, if you know what I mean. This boy.
I don't know.
Things took a turn when she told me the ending of last month that she had missed her period. I was extremely confident that that wasn't my fault. Not that I shoot blanks, but I know how I play. But I kept my cool and asked her what she wanted. And she blatantly told me she didn't want to keep the baby, and she didn't also want to get rid of the baby since it's her first. She was giving me a hard time for almost 3 days, and she finally made a decision, which is not to keep it. Bosses, I'm a university student and I don't know anywhere we could get this kind of meds since it has been prescribed. It needs to be prescribed by a doctor. We were on a search all day, but to no avail. She later called that evening after a long day, and then when I responded, she said, "So we don't play with you? Why are you so serious?" I said I don't get it, and she ended it by saying the pregnancy was a prank.
Chill. Go.
I said, but the test shows, and she said she altered the test kit just to convince me. I like this girl, and we always have a good time. But the way what she just did has changed the way I see her. Please advise me on what to do. Well, you're in luck today. We are in a good mood, so you're going to be.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, so Mr. Adjetey, you go first on this. What do you think?
I mean, look, I'm not a professional counselor or whatever, but I think that, from what you just read, I get a sense that he's a bit ticked off by the prank that the lady did.
Yes.
But I also believe that he should get over it and understand that women are very, they are deep-seated. They think ahead. I'm not saying that men do not, but the implications for them that are much more has much more consequences, and they would want to. It makes them think pretty far, and so the issue of what if I get pregnant, and what will be the consequences, and let me try and find out whether we're on the same page, and therefore that prank. Not everybody will take lightly to that.
Of course.
But if he really knows that this is the lady that he wants to spend his life with, then they should address that. But that also should also mean that he needs to. They both have to be very careful. That any pregnancy, anything happening on those lines could really bring some kind of impediments to what they all want to pursue in life, especially if they're in school. And so I'd say that they should be very, very cautious about that. Probably even hold on and pursue their dreams in school, make all the grades that they want to do, and get their degrees out, and then from there, when they're more serious about. But I don't think that this should be something that should cause him to break up the relationship. If indeed genuinely believes that this is the lady, with all the qualities that he wants to see in a woman and all that. I mean, we're all not perfect. This may be a weakness in her life, but that doesn't mean that the prank may be a weakness.
Then this weakness is very bad.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't really have speak directly to a certain character, behavior, or characteristics that you'd say that, oh, this girl is very, very saucy, this girl is very, very abusive, is very, has certain behaviors that you can't stand. I think that it's just one of those things that a lady would do, given especially her experience and what environment that she's coming from. Probably she's seen how people behave when the pregnancy issue comes up, and so she wants to find a way of, and maybe she didn't have a better way of doing that. And so it's something that they need to talk about and come to a certain understanding that this should be the first and last, if you will, from the guys, that he shouldn't do it this ever again. But yeah, it's not enough to write off.
Really?
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's like that is it.
That'll be harsh because then you're looking at just one thing.
Not really like one thing. Not really looking at one thing, but there should be a better way. You should to go about this whole thing.
Yeah, and she didn't have the better way. So you're going to punish her for not having the better way.
I mean, by the way, she was punishing the guy.
Yeah, she was punishing the guy. I mean, if the guy was a stickler,
well, understandably, but why should you be scared? But you knew that what you're engaging with could result in that. And so if that were happens in reality, how are you going to behave?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I want to ask him, what would have been if this was a reality? This wasn't a prank. What would his position be?
What's the context he gave? I think he would have been there. He would not have run away or anything.
He would not have run away.
He would have been
there. Yeah, but I'm sure that in conversations with him, the girl hadn't had that conclusiveness in terms of that, and that's why she would do a prank like that. Because if the guy comes across as low, if today I get pregnant, I know you will stick up for me, and I'm not sure she'll go with a prank, would she?
No, but the stories I've heard, if a guy would have left, he would have left like the day he found out about
the day.
But he been around for almost a week. I don't think he would have left even if it was true. So I think the girl should have even came clean even at the end of the day, that same day.
Right, taking
days,
it long.
Yeah, it makes it.
Yeah, I mean, probably she could have, let the cat out of the bag earlier on. I don't know what was holding her, not too bad. Like I said, these are things that they both have to, discuss.
Yeah, true.
And come to a conclusion that, both parties must be heard, and then they take a decision on that. I mean, we can't take a decision for them, but we can say that, from my point of view, I don't think it's enough to write her off. She should consider other things as well, weigh the other options as to what other things I should be losing. That's, these days, coming across ladies who have everything well packaged is tough. It's not easy, because there's so many things that are informing these ladies, and therefore they want to be safe, first and foremost. So if you have somebody who has qualities that are operating 70%, 80%, that's good. That's good, So unless other qualities too are suspect. Then
but the qualities he was mentioning, I'm just sure they were just teaching bad things like.
And then imagine the lady was
older than him, like 5 years older than he is.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, age really doesn't really do much.
It doesn't really.
It doesn't really make any impact.
To some extent, it might, because the girl had a lot of experience to be able to teach this guy a lot of things.
Well, not even like we experienced, but like.
For what he said he liked the girl because he.
So I'm talking of general, right?
Okay.
A lady once I'm older than you.
She feels threatened.
No, not like threatened, but like, I feel once a lady has something. Ladies,
you feel that, or the lady feel that?
Me, I feel they feel
that
when they're older than you in a relationship, they feel they should be respected. Like,
oh, I see what you mean.
Age, not like age fights. I don't know how to explain that.
I don't know. But it's the same way as men. You men feel that the women should respect them.
Let's say in a relationship here, we know a man is older, and in a way, a man has to be superior. In a way, because the good book says the men are the head, sort of.
Yes.
So a lady feels threatened by that in a way that she feels, I'm older than you. I don't really want to give you the respect and the authority of being the head.
I see what you mean, but I have practical examples of knowing couples who the women are way older than the men, and they had the most beautiful understanding, because you never can tell that the woman is rubbing off her age, advantage over the guy. The guy is still the one calling the shots, and he, of course, listens to the wife and her inputs, and then they both take a decision. So it's how how you balance it, and how you don't let that cloud everything the home front. And even though, as you said, it's likely that the women may feel because of the age, they may, but I think that practically it's either here or there. It's those two who are in the relationship can make it unique and can make it work for themselves, other than statistics that are floating around.
True. That's nice. Yeah, so Anonymous, you heard it. You've been advised, Charlie. Say drop it. Go to school. Finish the school. Your school is expensive nowadays.
Charlie,
finish the school.
Keep the relationship though, unless there's something that.
Yes, keep the relationship.
Okay. But prioritize. That's it.
Prioritize. Yeah, exactly. Prioritize. Choose what is more important. And to me, I'll tell you the school. So yes, prioritize. Choose the school over the lady.
Charlie,
you understand?
Somebody saying not like school.
No, but I tell him. I mean, he asked for advice. So I tell him what we can do. Anyway, yeah. So. Our final section.
Right.
We are going to be doing a little bit of Gen Z thing. We do almost everywhere we go, so we're just going to do this right
now.
To see how honest you're going to get. It's going to be random.
All right.
So you decide.
You decide what you
get. You have to read the answers.
All right, cool.
I'm going to do it 5 times, so let's start with the first one.
5?
Yep.
Trouble.
When you pick it, either you give it to me to read or you read it for me.
Okay. What's your go-to dance move when you are in on the dance party? So am I supposed to expect the words on?
Think. Do you think actions will be better? What is how do you think? Whether to dance? Oh my god. But I don't know. Once that, what do you?
Freestyle.
Okay, yeah, so freestyle and then music, freestyle. So either you're going to say it or that, so what do you want to do?
I mean, I don't even know how to express it. Express the words, but I've never done that before. But I think it's just bending the knees. I don't know. Somehow it just works for me. And because I don't know how to dance, I'm able to run away with it. But it's more or something that looks like.
Right.
No, before we continue this, the push-out walk.
Yeah.
How did you come about it?
I think that was more of an exaggerated walk of Basikru, a former mate of mine who had this walk, and when Pusha came, because when you're creating, you'd want things that is not out of this world, as it were, that people can relate. It's too exaggerated, but things that someone say, hey, Charlie, you see this Pusha guy, they walk like Basikru, or they walk like Papo, or they walk like this guy. So you kind of keep it, real a bit, and something that is not too much, out of it. And so I added a bit to it, and rehearsed it over and over and over until it became very normal, because you don't want to your walk change every time you go on set and every shoot, because then people will see that
there's no consistency.
You're faking it. Yeah, so yeah,
that was very nice.
Okay. Next question.
Right. This question is where they come out to the
red pots.
This one is long. Please read this one for me. I can't.
Right.
Read the question.
All right.
Part of the question.
Did you ever have a crush on someone and couldn't tell the person?
Yeah.
Later found out the person also liked you, but it was too late for you.
I know I had a crush on someone, but the person didn't have a crush on me. But as to whether someone had a crush on me and told me, I don't remember. I don't think that I experienced that. I know I had a crush on someone.
You couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell. But she obviously didn't have a crush on me.
How would you say your real skill was back then? What? Like his real skill, like getting to woo a girl.
A real skill. Okay. Well, what's the slang? That's a disease slang.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, bro.
That's a slang.
I didn't probably think too highly of myself. I always my posture was always ready to learn and really the nice guy.
Okay.
And so you kind of you feel that somebody is having a bad day. It's not, you want to like, oh, are you okay? Are you alright?
It doesn't work in this generation.
But it doesn't. It did work in our time.
Yeah, it did work in
because and what is it? Can I be of help? What kind of thing. Our ladies in those age felt that was more humane and reaching out to them and all that. So that kind of worked pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Third one.
Okay. This one too is long. If we were to write an what?
Can read
Let me check.
Autobiography, was that it?
Yeah. If you were to write an autobiography, what would you title it, and what's the tagline or subtitle? Someone clearly hasn't read it.
Yeah, you didn't read the book. I mean, this one's where you didn't read the book
already.
Right.
I'm even thinking of the
That's
second
out.
one.
Yeah, basically that's out.
That's out.
Yeah, that's out.
Oh, Charlie.
So you are going to the
It's
third.
my luck, isn't it? It's part of the. It's my luck that I picked something.
You didn't read the book. You just go read the book.
Okay, please.
Okay. When someone cuts in front of you in a queue, what do you do?
I guess you're 10 and they're just cutting.
I just.
The speaker.
Just watch it.
Have you ever been?
Well, okay, so there's this particular. I learned from that experience, and so there was this guy who it was a trotro driver. We're on the Teshi Road heading towards Family Health, the Kofi Annan Center.
Okay.
Traffic road. And the bus stop is to our right. I was in the outer lane and the trotro was in the inner lane.
Yeah.
And I think suddenly, they saw some passengers who wanted to. So he just crossed, and if I had not jammed on my brakes, I would definitely it was so close. And then he just crossed, and then so I was so upset. I panicked because I thought I had rammed into him. So then I was so upset. I moved slowly and got close to him. And so then I looked at him. And when I looked at him, and then he instead of apologizing, was like, we know you be that kind of thing. So it even infuriated me even more because just apologize for what you just did. And so when he did that, I was for a moment I was a bit shocked that is this the way you are even behaving? Then he recognized me. There's like, oh, push up. And I said, look at this. So I was like, clear off. And then I just moved. And it was tough for me to really deal with my emotion there because of the way he reacted, and I just couldn't help it. The fact that he had recognized me, that did not help. But
you're unable to express yourself.
Yeah, so I just
coming to. So everyone sees.
I knew I had a person like that.
Pusha as like a calm guy, a very calm person. How would you say your temperament is? Like openly outside.
Openly is always a contrast with Pusha. I mean, where you get Pusha very loud, Adjetey is calm. Adjetey is not the leader of the pack. He's always in the midst of the pack. So, very, very reserved, very, very observing, pretty much doing less of the talking. Very.
That's nice.
You didn't immediately see me in the crowd. Because
when you find him, you know he's there.
Okay, how many questions more?
Two more.
One more. I picked. Okay.
All right. What's your favorite comfort food? And is there any particular dish you enjoy making or eating?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So I mean, for a long time, my gobe is and I have
for the win.
And I have spots in almost every part. And that's when I have the boutique beans.
In Tema, do you have one in Tema?
Tema, rather I have wachi, not. I don't
What
have
wachi is
I
that?
don't have gobe. The wachi, what did you say? Cocaine wachi or something like that. Some BSB Committee 2.
Committee 2, yeah.
Cooking what you
And then
police station.
Yes. And then
This is my room.
Another gobe too. I have 2 joints in Osu, one in Akua, and then the other one. So I have areas where gobe is my go-to, and then that I think what would be the meal that I think Gary Photo would be. I'm a master of doing Gary Photo.
Gary Photo is not food.
What is it?
It's what?
It's dessert.
It is.
It's toppings.
When brothers they take Gary their sardines to make meal for school.
School. Okay.
They go to the restaurant. How they charge Gary Photo? Just Gary Photo. If you see the price.
This boy.
If you see the price. So Gary Photo. Because I like to do things that are very quick to do.
Right.
Yeah. So your soups, the palm nuts, are no venture.
No.
Something quick way you go fit move. So Gary Photo will be mine.
Okay.
The last one.
Hey, Charlie.
No questions there.
I'm not gonna see it.
Right. What are some of the things you hated as a child, but growing up you started to like? Like say culture shock.
Yeah, culture shock. Yeah, that kind of thing. But I have to do it like.
Something that I hated. I think it's like when we go, a few times that we go to funerals and or adorings and things like that, family events.
If it is what I'm thinking.
I'm like, what are we sitting the other day doing? It's like you come in the morning, just go back.
Go home. Thank you very much.
From morning to evening, I'm like, maybe I have something to watch, some game to play, and it's like just, I hated it.
Family didn't call me, man.
I hated it.
Come and greet this auntie.
Yes, to talk that. And It's just, I just thought it was just a waste of time and really hated it. Also, meeting some old folks who would, I have these old folks who would just come and pull you out. Hey, you've grown, no? I'm like, do you have to? And then I have this older person who would put saliva on her finger and try to remove something from my eye. And like, what is these things?
You don't have to.
I hated it. I hated with passion. You know, it's not your business. Let me be. And but growing up, I've understood some of them, even though I still didn't, subscribe to the time wasting thing. I thought that it's also important that we know who our relatives are. Because sometimes you go to a certain place and you're like, oh, I didn't even know that I was related to this guy. Right. And because of networking, it's important that you know who your relations are. Yeah. The opportunities that I missed, that I didn't know that I was cousins with the person who was the head of that department, where I could have just gone and was like, oh, Charlie, family thing, let me put you in there. True. So sometimes it has its pluses, and I've gone to understand, but even that I've not subscribed to the time wasting. But I see there's some sense in the networking and knowing your roots and etc. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for that section.
I'll ask a question. Yeah, I'll ask a question. Sure. Do you still think of finding yourself in the Hollywood space one day?
Oh, I mean, why not? I actually recently, was it 2 years ago, worked with Videographer. We shot a movie. It was an African American movie. And which is not yet out. It had me, Ozoko, Patient Ozoko as well from Africa. Okay. Yeah, from Africa. And then the African American actors. There's this Nunes. Nunes was in Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator. That's immediately that comes to me mind, and other movies as well. So I've experienced that, but not in the full, like the African actors, Idris Elba, them and things who are far ahead. And so I mean, but if that doesn't happen again, I still would still want to more. My focus is more on how to impact younger generations, especially, and that's why I don't take my presence at NAFTI for granted, because it's a creative hub, and I'd want our young people to be responsible for the choices that they are making. Whatever content they put out in the open will be consumed, and what the consequence would be is up to us. If you put filth out there, you get filth coming out in our society, and also in being under the spotlight, how do you behave? That people are making choices steeped in strong values and principles, that we're not just throwing anything and doing anything. We need to do better than what our fathers have done.
Right. That's nice.
Yeah, we'll go for that break.
Yeah. We'll go for that break. When we come back, the final words, and then we're out.
All right. So I would want to ask this final question. What are some secrets to staying very relevant in this industry? Because since our childhood, you've been there from like the pusher till now. Till now, like till today.
1997.
Charlie, been a long time. What would you say are like some secrets to?
I wouldn't call them secrets, but okay. So one of which would be staying in the process. I think that our world has made everything quick fix. It's so fast. You put stuff in microwave, it's done. Everything is quick. So many shortcuts. But I think that there's things that are still traditional. If you don't stay in the process, you are not baked. And so when you have an opportunity thrown at you, you crumble. From the way we cook yam has been the same. You can't cook yam in 2 minutes. You're going to have tummy aches. So the heat has to be applied. Gold ornaments, that way gold has to come to heat. It has to be heated for us to see the beauty of it. And so staying in the process prepares you for the jobs ahead. But sometimes people think that they can be, in our craft, for example, they can be young actresses who have potential, think that they can be an Nadia Buhari overnight or a Jackie overnight, just by giving them the opportunity, and then they'll be stars. No. There are things that you have to go through to build you up, skills that you need to learn, so that it's not just fine features, but then delivery content is zero. So yes, even though our world is fast paced and everything is quick, staying in the process will bake you, and that's the edge you have over the other person. And I think that the other thing would be being ready, open to learning. There are times where I got on set, and maybe there's a young person who is coming in who probably that's his first time of doing a movie. There's this temptation of sitting, there like, hey, young boy, come and let me give you some tidbits because I've been in the game for long, And when you give that posturing, you are not able to learn again, because everybody who comes into the space has something unique to offer.
Right.
He may have something that I don't have.
Yeah.
He has a certain flair of when he talks to somebody, what he does, and I'm watching him, I'm like, let me borrow this and add to mine. That's how you stay relevant.
Okay.
And so being ready to learn from anybody, not just those who have the PhDs and all the degrees, but the people out looking on the street who know more business than the person,
true.
and they're doing it. And there's evidence to show that. When you look at Mr. Kwame Despite, for example, he doesn't have all the PhDs, but who can tell him business than he knows much more business than people who have been done all the degrees
courses,
in the world. So you have to find out that the people who have things to offer and were readily, you must be ready to be able to learn from all walks of life. Yeah.
There's this saying: famous people can't do normal things. Does it apply to you? Are there things you could do before the pusher era, that you really find difficult to do now?
Oh, Charlie, I still walk to my gobe lady. I still walk. Just look, just the smile on her face when she sees me is even fulfilling. I've made her day. And things like that. We still have that vibe. It hasn't changed. She respects me. She admires me. The only person that I sort of don't do that consistently is the Coco Salamalia consistently, because when I go, I say I want to buy 1 cedi, she'll give me like 10 cedis worth of. And you see, when that happens, you can't keep going. True. Because so I have to send. So people that she doesn't know and that kind of thing. But otherwise, Charlie, I still go to my people, get what I have to get, and it's Charlie. What's
survive?
Charlie. Just be down to earth and get what you want.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adjetey Anang.
It's been a good one. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Do you have any last words? Anything you want to do there? Or just,
so let's break it down for him. This they didn't tell us.
Okay.
It's more of like a show from the old people,
right?
Telling we the young ones stuff. So we are like the old people didn't tell us what we are facing now.
Right. We figured some of the things now, so we are telling the
finesse. We finesse some.
Finesse we did here. So we finesse how we did here.
Okay, so finesse is more like we found our way around it.
Yeah,
we've bit the
finesse
system.
no slang.
Okay.
Finesse we are slang though.
No, I don't know that.
Okay.
How you explaining it? No, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like we found our way around it. We beat the
system.
system.
Yeah.
A bit. Yeah.
Wow. So what are some things, life hacks you would give us?
Pay attention, right?
I mean, look, apart from if you what I've just shared with you, I think that every morning when you wake up, you ask yourself, am I better than yesterday? Can I be better than yesterday? Because then our world. Look at what's happening in a world where we've become so advanced in every area, but the only place that we've not been advanced is character and behavior.
Yeah, that's true.
And so even though we had World War II, World War I in those ages where we couldn't even find solutions to malaria and things like that, today we're still having world wars.
Yes.
So it's a tolerance level. People who have might can just move into another country and just kill civilians and things. We should have progressed more than that. And so our day-to-day interactions with one another should be more closer, more understanding, more love-based. If we may have different opinions, but if love is the foundation, that Charlie, you're my brother, you're my sister. I can't come and be abusing you even if I disagree with you. We should grow from that. And in our time, what finesse means. Have some finessing when we're dialoguing, you know.
Okay,
so there's a level of diplomacy and not abuse and I don't see I have to punch you or that. We need to have that tolerance level. And so how do we better our relationships every now and then on day-to-day basis so that our world becomes much better and matches our advancements in technologically and what have you. Yeah, I think that's where we need more input.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you heard it.
Adjetey Anang.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming once again.
I'll go film this scene.
Charlie.
So.
So it's been They Didn't Tell Us.
Always.
Best podcast on the planet.
Right now,
I talk finish.
Our ratings just went up,
Charlie.
You know.
And
free ads running nowadays.
From now to December.
From now to December, free ads. Our mails will be down there. Send us a mail of your details, your logo, whatever it is. Just
shoot it in.
And then we'll communicate on how we want it to work. And then you send it and then we post it.
And
just
then we need more listener letters too. So
more
proud
like
of this guy.
Maybe you'll not be lucky next time, but if I'm on set, I'll not give you advice, man. I don't understand why you are doing this.
The mail will be down there. And so just follow our socials at They Didn't Tell Us.
Yep.
Everywhere.
I'm your host, deyram.
Jedidiah.
Okay.
And our guest has been Mr. Adjetey Anang.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming once again.
Thank you.
And we out.